The most dangerous liars don't avoid eye contact. They look you straight in the eyes to see if you believe them. It is a counterintuitive truth of human behavior. While most people believe that a liar will look away, shift uncomfortably, or sweat, the highly skilled manipulators do the exact opposite. They overcompensate. They lock eyes with you, holding your gaze just a second too long, using your own assumptions as a shield. Welcome to the hidden world of human behavior, where what people say is merely a distraction from what their bodies are screaming. If you have ever felt like someone was lying to you, or if you have ever walked away from a conversation feeling like you missed something critical, you are not alone. Most people go through life completely blind to the silent language being spoken all around them, but once you learn to see it, you can never unsee it. Today you are going to learn the step-by-step system to decode anyone instantly, not by guessing, but by understanding the primal evolutionary hardwiring of the human mind. Before we dive into the specific physical cues, we must establish the golden rule of behavioral analysis: baseline observation. You cannot accurately read a stranger without first knowing what their normal behavior looks like. When you first meet someone, or when a conversation begins, you must observe their neutral state. How do they blink? What is their natural vocal tone? How do they position their hands when they are relaxed? This is their baseline. Once you establish this baseline, your job is not to look for random signs of lying or discomfort. Your job is to look for deviations from this baseline. A sudden change in posture, a shift in vocal pitch, or a sudden freeze in movement is where the truth leaks out. This approach prevents you from making the amateur mistake of misinterpreting natural nervousness or social anxiety as deception. Now let us start from the ground up. Most people focus entirely on the face when trying to read someone. This is a massive mistake. The face is the part of the body we control the most. From childhood, we are taught to smile when we are unhappy, to mask our anger, and to look polite. The face is a highly trained actor. If you want the truth, you must look at the parts of the body that are furthest from the brain: the feet. Evolutionarily, our feet and legs are designed for survival. When our ancestors faced a predator, their feet prepared to run or fight long before their conscious mind processed the fear. This hardwiring remains unchanged. When you are talking to someone, look at their feet. If their feet are pointed directly at you, they are fully engaged in the conversation. But if their torso is facing you while their feet are pointed toward the exit, their subconscious mind has already left the room. They want to go, and their body is preparing for the departure. Similarly, if you approach a group of people and they turn their torsos to greet you but keep their feet angled away, they are socially tolerating your presence, but they do not truly welcome you into their circle. Moving up the body, we reach the torso and the shoulders. The torso houses our most vital organs, which makes it a primary target for evolutionary self-defense. When a person feels threatened, uncomfortable, or defensive, they will subconsciously protect their torso. This is why people cross their arms. However, crossed arms can be misunderstood. Sometimes, a person is cold cold or comfortable in that position. This is where your baseline and the concept of clustering come in. Never judge a single gesture on its own. Look for a cluster of 3 signs. If someone crosses their arms, tucks their chin slightly, and steps back, they are actively creating a physical barrier between you and them. They are closing off. Another powerful torso cue is ventral denial. Ventral refers to the front of our body. When we like someone or agree with them, we practice ventral fronting, turning our chest directly toward them as a sign of trust and openness. The moment we disagree, feel uncomfortable, or dislike what is being said, we will subtly pivot our torso away, even if we keep looking at the person. This subtle shift is an immediate indicator of internal resistance. Next, let us analyze the hands and the arms, which are the primary tools for emotional expression and self-pacification. When human beings experience stress, anxiety, or cognitive load, our brains demand comfort. To satisfy this, we perform pacifying behaviors. For men, this often manifests as touching the face, adjusting a collar, or rubbing the back of the neck. The neck is rich with nerve endings, and stroking it actively lowers the heart rate. For women, pacifying gestures often involve touching the suprasternal notch, which is the small hollow area at the base of the neck, or playing with a necklace. When you see someone suddenly touch their neck or throat after you ask a specific question, you have just touched a nerve. Their brain is actively trying to calm itself down from the stress of your query. Furthermore, watch the hands during speech. Honest people use illustrative gestures that match the rhythm of their words. If someone is fabricating a story, their cognitive load increases dramatically. Because their brain is working overtime to build a lie, their physical gestures will freeze or become delayed, appearing stiff and unnatural. Now, we must look at the face, but not in the way most people do. We are looking for micro-expressions. These are involuntary facial expressions that flash across a person's face for a fraction of a second, revealing their true, unfiltered emotion before their conscious mind can suppress it. Discovered by Dr. Paul Ekman, micro-expressions are universal across all cultures. One of the most important micro-expressions to recognize is contempt. Contempt is characterized by a one-sided smirk, where only one corner of the mouth tightens and rises. It is the only asymmetrical facial expression. If you ask someone if they respect your work, and you see that quick one-sided pull of the mouth, they feel superior to you, regardless of what polite words leave their lips. Another critical microexpression is fear, marked by widened eyes where the white of the eye shows above the iris, and a slightly pulled-back jaw. Spotting these fleeting moments requires intense focus, but once you master it, it is like having a direct window into their subconscious mind. Let us also decode the eyes, which are often called the windows to the soul, though not for the reasons you might think. We have been told that looking up and to the left means someone is remembering, while looking up and to the right means they are lying. In reality, scientific studies have shown that eye direction patterns are highly unreliable for detecting lies on their own. Instead, focus on eye blockages and pupil dilation. When we hear something we do not like or when we feel threatened, we experience eye blocking. This can look like a long blink, rubbing the eyes, or shielding the eyes with a hand. It is a primitive attempt by the brain to prevent us from seeing something unpleasant. On the other hand, pupil dilation is completely involuntary. When we look at someone we are attracted to, or when we see something we highly desire, our pupils dilate to let in more light and take in more detail. Conversely, when we are angry, defensive, or disgusted, our pupils constrict into tiny pinpricks. Finally, we must observe vocal pacing and verbal cues. The voice is an extension of our physical state. When someone is telling the truth, their answers are usually immediate, spontaneous, and emotionally congruent. When someone is lying, they need time to construct their narrative and ensure it makes sense. To buy time, they will often repeat your question back to you or ask for clarification on something simple. They might say, "Why would you ask me that?" Or, "Are you accusing me of something?" This is a defensive deflection designed to give their brain a few precious seconds to assemble a plausible lie. Additionally, pay close attention to pronoun drops. When people are telling the truth, they naturally use personal pronouns like I, me, and my. When people are lying or trying to distance themselves from an action, they subconsciously drop these pronouns to remove themselves from the narrative. They will say, "The car was damaged," instead of, "I crashed the car." This linguistic distancing is a profound indicator of guilt or discomfort. By putting all these pieces together, you create a complete behavioral map. Remember, this knowledge is not a weapon to manipulate or falsely accuse others. It is a shield to protect yourself from deception, a tool to build deeper empathy, and a guide to understanding the silent struggles of those around you. When you can read the unspoken language, you can truly connect with people on a level they didn't even know was possible. What is the most common body language sign you have noticed in your own life? Have you ever caught someone in a lie using these cues? Share your experiences in the comments below and let us discuss the fascinating patterns of human behavior. If you want to continue mastering your mind and decoding the world around you, make sure to subscribe to PsycheX and turn on notifications. Stay sharp.